Mahjong for Dummies! Part 3! Shapes and isolated tile values. So, remember how I said that part 3 will be about making hands in a real match? Yeah, I lied. I realized that it's going to be a whole lot easier doing that once we've covered 2 more topics. Shapes and tile values, which is this video, and the 5-block theory, which I'll explain in future videos. Okay, let's talk about shapes. Remember that we have to make 4 sequences or triplets plus 1 pair? So, clearly, most of the time, we'll be more focused on making sequences instead of the pair. Now, what I mean by shapes is the combination of tiles that serves as the base of these sequences, triplets, or pair. For example, a shape of 4 circles, 5 circles can accept either 3 circles or 6 circles to make a complete sequence of 3, 4, 5, or 4, 5, 6. The shape 5 circles and 7 circles can only accept 6 circles to make a complete sequence of 5, 6, 7. Clearly, we want to have shapes such that they can accept as many tiles as possible in order to make a complete sequence. In other words, the larger a shape's capacity is, the better it is. I will now show you all the basic shapes to make a complete sequence. A little note here is that I made the English terminologies by myself, so that it's easier for you guys to remember and understand. These are not official English terminologies, and I do recommend you guys to be familiar with the Japanese terms, as it seems that they are more commonly used. We can first divide the shapes into 2 groups, the good shapes, or ryoke, and bad shapes, or guke. The good shape has the largest capacity out of all shapes, and there's only one good shape, the 2-side weight, or diangmen. This shape is formed by having 2 consecutive numbers, hence why you can wait for 2 sides, or a total of 8 tiles. An example of this shape is 4-5, which is waiting for either 3 or 6 to make a complete sequence. There are 6 possible good shapes in total. Associated with these 6 good shapes are of course their corresponding 6 weights. These weights are so important that they have their own name called Suji. The 6 possible weights for a 2-side weight are 1-4, 4-7, 2-5, 5-8, 3-6, and 6-9. Here's how Suji works. If you have a 2-3 shape, then you're waiting for 1-4. If you have a 5-6 shape, then you're waiting for 4-7. If you have a 3-4 shape, then you're waiting for 2-5, and so on. Suji is really important for knowing what tiles you're waiting for. You don't have to memorize the Suji pattern now, especially if you're just starting out. But for those who wants to properly play Mahjong, memorizing these patterns 1-4-7, 2-5-8, and 3-6-9 is a must, because you're going to use them very often. A life hack here, if you have a numpad on your keyboard or a calculator nearby, then you can actually see the Suji pattern written there in each column. For now, I'll stop talking about Suji, but we'll be coming back to it later in future videos when we're talking about defense. After the good shapes, next are the bad shapes. The bad shapes can only wait for one side, or at most 4 tiles. First, we have the edge weight, or Penchan. There are only 2 possible edge weight, 1-2 waiting for a 3, or 8-9 waiting for a 7. The second bad shape is the middle weight, or Kanchan. Examples of these shapes would be 5-7 waiting for a 6, or 4-6 waiting for a 5. The third bad shape is a bit unique, as the end result of this shape is not a sequence, but rather a triplet and a pair. This shape is made out of 2 pairs. For example, the pairs 3-3 and 6-6 waiting for either a 3 or 6. If we manage to draw 3, then we'll end up with a triplet of 3 and a pair of 6. If we manage to draw 6 instead, we'll end up with a triplet of 6 and a pair of 3. Note that even if we're waiting for 2 kinds of tiles, we only have a total of 4 tiles left, not 8. Since we've used 2 tiles of both 3 and 6 to make the pairs in the first place. To make this chart complete, I will add one more bad shape, which makes a pair instead of sequences or triplets, the single weight, or tanki. It is simply made out of one tile and waits on itself to make appear. So, the $1 million question, what shape is the best? As we want to collect shapes with the largest capacity, the ideal situation is to have as many good shapes as possible. With that in mind, a nice thing to remember is that the middle weight is better than the edge weight in general, as it is easier to make a good shape from the middle weight rather than the edge weight. For example, from a middle weight shape 5-7, we can draw a 4 and throw away the 7 to make a good shape of 4-5. Or we can also draw an 8 and throw away 5 to make a good shape of 7-8. On the other hand, if we have an edge shape of 1-2, it is impossible to make this shape into a good shape in one step. You'll have to first draw a 4, making the middle shape 2-4, and then draw a 5 to make a good shape of 4-5. You need only one step to make a good shape from the middle weight, but 2 steps for the edge weight. From this fact, we can draw another conclusion regarding the value of a single tile. In making good shapes, terminal tiles, such as 1 or 9, are bad. 2 and 8 are kinda okay, while 3 to 7 are king. Here's why. Terminal tiles can never be made into a good shape in one step. For example, if you have a 1, you can only accept either 2 and make an edge weight 1-2, bad, or accept 3 to make middle weight 1-3, which is meh. For 2 and 8, you can only wait for one tile to make them into a good shape. For 2, you can wait for a 3 to make 2-3, and for 8, you can wait for a 7 to make 7-8. If you drew either 1 or 9, you'll get edge weights of 1-2 or 8-9 instead, which is not great. For tiles 3 to 7, however, you'll be able to wait for 2 tiles to make a good shape. For example, the tile 4 can wait for either 3 or 5 to make a good shape of 3-4 or 4-5. You have double the chance to make a good shape with these tiles compared to 2s or 8s. So, in conclusion, point 1. The best number 1 shape that you want to collect is the good shape. Then, if you have to choose between edge weight and middle weight is generally better than edge weight. Pair weight is quite situational as it is quite varied, and we tend to avoid single weight because it has the least amount of weights of 3 tiles. Point 2. The more middle your numbers are, the more valuable they are because they are easier to be made into a good shape. So, how do we actually use these stuff in a real match? Well, the idea is that by knowing the shapes you have in your hand, you'll be able to immediately figure out their weights, and thus the tiles we need and the tiles we don't need. We'll use some hands from my ranked games as examples, and I'll explain how to progress your hand even faster. Unfortunately, I decided not to do that now, because after I've written the script for that part, it turns out to be even longer than this video. However, if you still want to watch me play ranked, go check out my live streams. The archives are here in my channel, and if you want to catch me live, I usually announce my live stream on X, so follow me there. Hopefully this has been useful to you. In the meantime, try and use the knowledge you've gained from this video, and I assure you that you'll have a better understanding of your hand just from simply listing out all the shapes in your hand and their corresponding weights. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Leave your thoughts, comments, and suggestions for future videos in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one. Have fun with your games. Bye!